Hi, welcome. Welcome to this live. Daughter of my Abba, welcome here. This is an important topic because so many of us feel like a completely different person after going through an abusive relationship. Oh, hello, 3 dogs and a girl. Welcome. Okay, so I have thought about this topic quite a bit. And hi, Hava Java, welcome. That's amazing. You are already 4 people joining in, and the live is just getting started. So perfect. So the topic of hi Sharon, welcome. I'm happy that so many of you were able to join. I hope that you're having a good Thursday or an okay Thursday. Okay, and this was actually a topic that the viewers voted for. So obviously, several survivors have experienced this, and it's, I think, one of the big questions that we struggle with, or experiences that we struggle with after coming out, or in the end of an abusive relationship. This feeling of not being ourselves and not really knowing who we are, or it's like the abuse have affected us at the core, or that's what it feels like. And I'm planning to explain why this feeling comes about. So what causes this feeling of being a different person? And when we talk about that, we will touch upon we will come actually to a very important question. And that is like, if when we are peeling off all of the things that used to hold our self-image together, when we are able to break free, a lot of that things that we used to identify with, but that we picked up some like along our lifetime, or we identified with different abilities or different relationships and so on. Some of that was actually never part of our core person, or it is getting peeled off. And so there is something that, even though this is very, very painful, and it's not at all easy to start to build up this sense of self and new identity, but I think that it will be an identity that is much more closer to our real person. Okay, so I'm thinking that I will just dive into it, because I prepared some slides to try to explain how this feeling of being a different person, or no longer being ourselves, comes about. And meanwhile, you're so welcome to comment or share in the comments, and I will go through most of them in the end, as usual. Okay. So what creates our sense of self, or sense of identity? There are a few theories, so it's depending on who or what theories you follow. But so I looked through a bit, like Carl Rogers and Carl Jung. They have a bit like different opinions on what creates this sense of identity. But common to the different theories seem to be like a combination of the things that you see on this slide. Our abilities, so what we're able to do, and like the actions that we are able to take in the world, that is important to us. Our education, our work, our skill sets, things that we can do. And then our beliefs. So, because our own sense of self, it's sort of not separate from what belief systems we hold, or the things that we believe about ourselves or other people, or so on, that will affect it. Hi, welcome, Allerwelt Cater. Good evening. If I remember correctly, you are tuning in from Germany. And you're welcome. I'm just going through some of the theories, or trying to explain where this feeling of being a different person after narcissistic abuse, why that is created. And meanwhile, you just listen in and relax and have some tea, or some of you might just be going about your day and listening in. But you're welcome to write and share if there's anything that you come to think of. So our sense of self is created by our abilities, our beliefs. Our values affects our sense of self. So what we think is right or wrong, what we think is important. Oh, hi, yeah, Susanne. Okay. That's a common name in Sweden as well. The goals we have for our lives also affects the sense of self. Hi, Libby. You're welcome as well. Okay, so depending on what our goals are in life, that is sort of our measuring stick. We are measuring ourselves toward our goals, or towards the ideal situation. And so comparing if we are able to meet our goals, or that will affect how we feel about ourselves. And our relationships. Relationships are very important for humans, because we are we live in families, in groups, in societies, in communities. That's how we in modern days, we are getting more separated from that way of living that was how it was for before that, for humanity. We lived in small groups, families, communities, and relationships were very important for our survival. So before modern society, where one person can actually what happened? Do you still hear me? I think there was a glitch in my internet connection, but now I'm back, I think. Okay. So because relationships and social, like the community is very important for our survival. We have our brains are constantly scanning how people around us are treating us. And then we measure that sense, our self-esteem or self-worth or how we feel about ourselves. And even if we are happy or if we are getting depressed, that can be affected by the feedback that we're getting from others. So if we are being bullied or treated poorly by a lot of people in our lives, then we will start to internalize that messaging. And the other way around as well, if we have people who are safe and supportive people, then that can be a really important part of our sense of self or self-worth. You can hear me now. That's good. I'm hoping that it will not be any more glitches. It was the first time actually that it happened in the live stream. I'm sitting close to the router, so hope it will work. Okay. And before we dive into what happens to our sense of self in an abusive or narcissistic relationship, I wanted to mention this, that every person, every human is very, very special and very valuable. And that's sort of the assumption that the Western world is built on. And even our, that's something that, not perfectly, but it's part of society that we have human rights and everyone is equal before the law and so on. But I really believe that that every human has a value, a very, very big value. But not every person feel valuable. So the truth is that everyone is valuable, but many of us don't feel like it. And I would guess, if we did a survey on the average person, there will be a lot of people, like a high percentage, who don't feel really valuable in themselves. And so valuable without producing, without doing anything. We are valuing our efforts, or we are valuing our achievements. Okay. Now, so we're moving into the beginning of a narcissistic relationship. And this relationship is very intense in the beginning. There is love bombing. You are building this really tight connection, and this person is becoming very, very important. They are taking up more and more of your attention, and so things are starting to shift around. If you look at the right side, your other relationships and perhaps even your goals for your life, they are becoming less important than this relationship, or you are adjusting them to this primary the narcissistic or abusive relationship, and especially if it's a marriage or like a romantic relationship, that becomes very intense, and other relationships and other goals are like sliding to the side. You're not focusing as much on them because you're getting so much, as you feel it, value and like love and good feelings from this relationship. And to the left side, perhaps also, they are not as small as on the right side, but some of your values or beliefs may also be affected by this person. And you may start to align a bit more with the things that they value or that they believe you, because you like and admire them, and you think that, well, they might have a point. Like you start to see things a bit from their point of view. And they are building you up a lot in the beginning. You are so beautiful, and you make them feel so good, and like they are praising you, but they are actually praising your abilities, or like not, because that's why I made a big circle of the abilities. They're not really praising. They're not really like building up your value as a person apart from your abilities or the outside, like you're beautiful, you're smart, you make them feel good, you are you are make such good cookies, or whatever they focus on praising. So it can feel like you're being built up. You're feeling valued and loved and so on. So this is the beginning. And then we move on to like further on in the relationship. Because what happens as the relationship is moving into, like, you're now committed in the relationship, the love bombing is over. And during this part, they are slowly pulling back and devaluing you. And this is a very slow process, and it's like not a steady slope. Let's see. Not like that, but it's like up and down. So you don't, and over years, so you don't notice. It's hard to see that process, but gradually they're not that interested, and you're not that great, and they don't spend that much time with you and don't give you as much attention. And to gain that appreciation and like kind words, you have to give and give and give more. You have to invest more in the relationship to get the same like reward of affection or love. So, and it's not only that, but they usually withdraw from the responsibilities as well. But the end result is that you are doing a lot and you're still getting appreciated for what you're doing. But you have to do a lot to keep things functioning. And other things are having to take an even smaller place, like relationships, goals, values, beliefs, and like your hobbies, your friendships, and like even your health might, it has to step back because you can't keep up with everything. And like, for example, during this phase for me, when I was still getting appreciated, but so I was, well, definitely appreciated when I was going to school and cooking and like paying for the apartment with my student loan, and even during when our first son was born, I was keeping everything, like I was taking care of the baby so he never had to do anything almost, and like cleaning and doing laundry and cooking and shopping, and I was even working a bit extra, like tutoring students, to get some extra money. And so I was like even cutting back on sleep to be able to like cutting back on sleep and constantly working to be able to keep up with everything. And I did not have time or energy to see friends and family a lot. So yeah, I'll just, because daughter of Maya, but you also recognize this. You say, this makes a lot of sense. I felt I had to earn love, and I would burn myself out pretty regularly by trying to do more and more. Yes. It's like you up your game a bit, and then that's the new normal, and then that's what they expect, and they're happy for a while. But then they're unhappy again, and you have to up your game a bit again. So yes, it's we're burning out in these relationships. And in a way, it's sort of like how how a con artist will operate. I listened to this testimony by a woman who had been tricked by a medium. Like she went to a medium or a psychic, and this person said that, well, there is a curse in your family bloodline, so I will help you to remove it, but we have to make a little sacrifice. So you have to sacrifice a little bit of, I think it was in the beginning, it was like a small sum of money, then we will like burn it and put the ashes. So, and then it would be like you have to buy this to keep your time ticking. You have to buy this watch. It has to be like a special crystal inside. I will call my friend and we will arrange it. And then it was a Rolex watch for 3,000, and it would be like this extortion because, oh no, it wasn't properly like the curse wasn't properly taken care of, so now we need to do this, and it will also always cost this woman money. So they are constantly like, there is a problem, you need to invest a bit more. Yeah. Okay, let's see. But then we move into like the later stages of their relationship, because everyone, like no one can keep on giving forever or keep on stepping up forever. There is a limit, and we're starting to malfunction in the abuser's mind, and or they're just like, sometimes this can also happen, like they have set their sight on another target, or they're just like they're just they think that we are stuck, so they don't have to pretend anymore, and then they will even stop praising us so we are still doing all of this, like this big circle, the ability, like what we're doing, but we're no longer getting any praise. It's like an obligation, and of course our self-worth is at the bottom, and we feel like at this stage we have sacrificed everything for this relationship, We have really put all our time and energy and put our health aside, our dreams, our hobbies, our friendships, our own goals, for this relationship to work, for this marriage to work. And it's not working, and they are irritated and angry, and we're getting abused and criticized, and so on. So like even our best was not good enough. And this is very, very painful. And it really has nothing to do with us. Like this happens to anyone who is in these types of relationships. Like it's part of the praise and so on. It was there to lure us in when they wanted us to be in the relationship. But abusers, narcissists, they don't value other people. And many of them are like abusers. They are bullies. They like to put others down. And in these long-term relationships, when we are for a long time with such a person, it becomes slavery. And in many cases, coercive control is also involved. So we have not noticed it, but during those years when things felt okay, but we were working hard to keep it together, they took control over a lot of areas and shifted things around and arranged for themselves to have freedom and so on. And perhaps took actions that like at this stage when we figure that, okay, so like this is not feeling good, we might discover that it's not that easy to leave because we are really like connected to them. So many narcissistic or abusive persons, manipulators, even if you are friends or family members, they like to like arrange for things to be intertwined. Like, oh, do you want me to fix this for you? And it's easier if I just put it in my name, and then you can just transfer me the money every month, for example. Or like arrangements where they will, like family members, if I can just, like if you can just co-sign my loan, or I can rent this cabin from you and I can live there and I will like pay rent. But then once they move in, like the rent becomes a problem. And so they like to it's hard to separate from them because often we have many ties or connections to them. Okay, but we're at this stage where things are getting like not feeling good, but we're still not often seeing what is going on. So we're not recognizing that we're getting abused. We think that okay, so there is a crisis in our relationship. Like we used to be at this, I will back up a bit. We used to be at this stage, like he liked me. We had it good together sometimes. But now we're at this stage, like, I don't know what happened. Why doesn't he doesn't look at me the same way? Like he doesn't want to be intimate, perhaps. Or doesn't he love me anymore? Is there another woman? And we try to figure out what the problem is. And we try to, like this is often long, like this stage lasts for a long time. We try different things and like pay a lot for relationship coaching and read books and try to figure things out. But because the problem is not us, the problem is that our partner is abusing us. Things will not, like, perhaps they will be better for a while, but this gradual downhill like slope of them demanding more and criticizing more and being more controlling and more abusive and so on, it will continue up until this point where we're burning out. We are no longer functioning like we used to. So our abilities is getting smaller. We're getting brain fog. We're getting sensitivity to light. We can't sleep. We're getting like feeling anxious, feeling like we're not able to function as well anymore. And this is after years of being abused. And this is also very painful for like our view of ourselves. We used to be this woman who had everything together, and now we're feeling like I don't have everything. I do not have everything together. I do not know how to get out of this situation. So feeling lost and feeling like we have, as I said, sacrificed a lot of things along the way. And I have been thinking about, like, why do the abusers keep pushing so far? Because somewhere here, usually, the relationship, like, it will eventually often break, because it's not sustainable. You can't continue pushing and burning out, and he will, like, the abuse will become more obvious, and like either you will leave or he might leave because you are no longer like at this stage when you need some help. Now you would really need some support and help, like to take some burdens off you and get some rest, and so on, get some support, but they are not willing to do that. So it's perhaps easier to just dump you and leave. But it's depending on the abuser. Some will do that and some will not leave, even though like this is the situation, because they may not have any other or better option. But usually they will just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they push you over a limit where you feel that this is really, really enough. Like, I can't take it. For me, it was the red car story version. So that was my, like, the last drop. I read in this book How He Gets Into Her Head by Don Hennessy, which is a good book, but I think that it's more for like not for survivor, like not when you are in the relationship or during the like first phase of trying to make sense of things. It's a bit like further down, but he worked with abusers, and he writes about the grooming process, and but he worked mostly with women who were in these long-term abusive relationships, supporting them in helping them to, like, if they wanted to, like coaching that or counseling them in how to get out of the relationship. And if I remember correctly, I think he worked in Ireland. But one of the stories in this book is like he had a client or a woman who he saw, and she was in like one of these long-term. She was married to a man who was abusive, and they had been married for many years, and he treated her poorly. But then one day he took her like all her nice clothes, and he burned them. And that was the drop that made her leave, because she said that, like, even though it was really bad at home, like I was being treated very bad at home, I could still put on some nice clothes, and I could like go to church on Sundays, or I could like sometimes go out, like I could sometimes go out, like meet some people, and I would feel like any woman, like who were being taken good care of. But when I did not have those like nice clothes, then she felt that like this was too much, like too much of my self-worth was getting taken away. And I think that they keep pushing, even like even though they are getting so much from us, and like they are getting a free pass, like when we're staying with them, they're getting this free pass through life, because we're basically being their secretary and their butler and their housemaid, and like taking care of things for them in life, and being there to support them and love them, which is something that is like when you have a person there who really supports you and really loves you, that is a rare thing, or at least if you are an abuser. So, but they don't value that, even when they have found a woman who is willing to stay and try. And I think that it is because they don't understand that we are staying because of like we're staying because we're trying to keep the family together, or we're staying because we think that that is the right thing to do, or we're staying because we love them. We're staying because of positive reasons, because of our values, or because like we're still staying and trying to do something good. And so, yeah, sometimes we stay because we feel stuck. But even as we're feeling stuck, we're staying and trying our best. But the abuser sees all of that as weakness. And they don't really see our strength, because we're holding that back. So they don't anticipate that we can like stand up and decide to leave, and no longer be nice, and so on. So I'll just remove that image. Like when I separated from my ex-husband, he was in shock, and he kept writing me, because I refused to talk to him, but he kept writing me and saying like, who is behind this? like I couldn't with my feeble mind and weak will decide to leave him. He thought that someone else was coercing me, but he didn't understand that I was like cooperating and giving in and trying my best and so on. It wasn't because I was stupid and weak. It was actually like I was, and you are as well, like it is really hard to go through one of these relationships. So it takes real strength. And but he didn't see that, so he just kept pushing and wanting more. And so I think we will go through some of your comments, and then I have 2 slides where we talk about like what has actually happened here when we are like we will talk a bit more about the self-worth and so on. So let's back up a bit. Libby, you say you love the visuals. That's good. Just wait, my hair got crazy. Let's see. So Allervelds Cater. Suzanne. Suzanne. It's also a bit like we cannot stop giving too much at a certain stage, although we feel that it is not well respected and it's not reciprocal. Maybe the abuser is also kind of addicted to our supply. Yes. That's very very insightful. Yes, at a certain point we can't stop what we're doing. We can't stop serving them or doing all of those things. We have been especially if it's a coercively controlling relationship, where the abuser is trying to constantly increase control over us. We're getting trained to do things. Like we're getting trained to have dinner ready at a certain time. and because we have perhaps even if they have never been angry because dinner was not ready, we know that they can be angry about other stuff. So it's like we feel safer if we just meet their expectations. And when we talk about the 4 trauma responses, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, many of us, when we are in these relationships, we deal with it by fawning. So we're trying to keep the abuser calm, keep them happy. It's a cat behind me, that's behind the curtain. So trying to keep them in a good mood and trying to scan for any signs of an upsailing conflict, or trying to put out any fires before they start, as a way to keep ourselves safe. But that's that's a trap in a way. It doesn't work. You can't stop the abuse, even if you can sometimes stop it temporarily, because they are the ones who are deciding if they are wanting to behave badly or start an argument and so on. So you can never stop it completely. And then you say, let's see, maybe the abuser is also kind of addicted to our supply. Yeah, yes, you can. I think you can say that. I think that they are like abusers or narcissists. They do not function by themselves. They don't develop the skills or so on that they need to get by on their own in life. So they need someone there to they never really build a real personality, real relationships, true connections. They need someone there to encourage them if they're sad, or take care of things, like the everyday mundane things, someone to do that for them. So in a way that they are addicted or non-functioning without it. And and they feel entitled to it. So I think my husband said, at one point, one time, I remember he said to me, you gave me the impression it's your job to do these things. You gave me the impression that you could do these things. So why should you, you can't stop now? But Yeah. You owe me. Or they will think that you like, it's also, I will just remove your comment because it's hiding my my face. It's also like this. These relationships are like you're going into debt forever. Like you can never repay it. They are doing something for you, and then you owe them. So they are giving you a gift, or they are helping you out with something, and now you owe them, and you never stop owing them. Every time that they do something more for you, you owe them more. So it's this. I don't know how they create this feeling, but you constantly feel indebted to them. And perhaps that is also like because they never seem fully happy or satisfied. They are constantly giving you this feedback that like it's not really enough, or you should have done more, or you should have told me this, or you should have so, or I did this for you, so you should do this for me. My ex-husband would say that, well, I supported you when you went through med school, and now you have to support me when I'm going through unemployment for 12 years. So, even though, yeah. Let's see, daughter of my Abba. It is interesting. They go after the one thing that is your survival mechanism, like her clothes. For me, it was my morning quiet time. My husband would not stop harassing me during that time. Ah, yeah. Yeah, it was your survival mechanism, like the thing that kept you going, that you could have that time for yourself in the morning. It's like they keep pushing, like they keep wanting more and more and more control, and they don't know when to stop. And he saw that quiet time perhaps as like, I don't know why it irritated him, but yeah, that was your final straw, sure. Yeah. And for me, that it was the car. So when it tricked me and the kids with the car. But in a way, I'm happy that that happened, because otherwise I could have still be like, I could still be in that relationship and still be suffering. So yeah. Let's see, 3 dogs and a girl. This is true. The abuser keeps pushing and expecting more and more until a person finally says, I can't take it anymore. This is not human. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it feels like. Like I also felt that in the last years, like, and I even told him, like, I feel like you're not treating me like a human. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like a slave because I was being treated very very poorly, and working or taking care of kids or doing like constantly on the go. A daughter of my Abba, I share with that morning quiet time I was able to sustain even with the abuse. But without that hour of quiet time with God, it became unsustainable for me. Yeah. Yes. And I mean, you were right to feel that way. He was creating a situation that was unsustainable for you, even with all that commitment that you had, and like all the effort that you were prepared to put in the relationship and what you were able, like what you were willing to put up with. But yeah, he was making it unsustainable for you. And Lydia, you say, I stayed because I thought I could change them. Yeah. That's also, I also thought that for years. And I think many do. And I think that they also on purpose give that impression that, well, I'm trying my best. Or you sometimes see glimmers of like, well, he can behave, like it can be nice. We can be good together. And you see those, it's like breadcrumbs, they're called breadcrumbs. But it's an illusion. It's like when you're traveling through the desert and you see this mirage. But, and I think that they know that we're staying because like if we could see everything clearly, what they are thinking and what they're doing, we would not stay if we had a choice. But they're on purpose, like shifting a bit up and down, and sometimes they're being really, really sweet. And you think that, well, that's the guy I love. That like there he is, but that's the act, which is like a really, really sad thing to realize. Let's see, Havajava, you share. I feel the entire 12-year relationship I was in flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. There was no time when I was entirely safe. And finally, my whole being collapsed. 12 years of not feeling safe and feeling stressed and anxious and trying different survival methods to stay safe or to fight against the abuse. That is very hard. It's no wonder that you collapsed. Are you out now, Havajav? I don't remember if you shared that. Okay. So I wanted to talk about the next, because we were at this image that was a bit depressing, where we have really put in everything and it was not good enough. How about you? Oh, you're out 3 months. I think that is similar to the daughter of my Abba. You're out 4 months, right? So you're also in the beginning. Yeah, and yes, exactly. And that collapse, it's very common after leaving. Feeling completely exhausted because it's the first time in years that your body is feeling that it's possible to relax. Yeah, 3 or 4 months. That's really good. Keep going, ladies. It gets better. But that like the first time after leaving is very difficult. There's a lot of processing, like hi Moonlight Freedom. Hi, I'm happy to see you. Yes, it's a hard topic, but important. Yeah, and often when the relationship ends, we are still in this stage, like the one I show on the screen, with like the abilities is no longer what it used to. So we are burned out, we're exhausted, we might have some health challenges. We have difficulty sleeping. We are dealing with anxiety. We are confused about what happened. We're grieving. So grieving the person that we love, the relationship, the dreams that we built, or the hope that we would be able. We worked for years, perhaps, to keep our family together, or and it didn't work. And now we are dealing with. So the relationship is ending. Usually, it can be a hard time to break free from the relationship, or like separation process, separating the assets, and so it's like we have, even though we are exhausted, we have to work to get things stable, to not crash, to keep at least find a place to live, pay the rent, have food on the table for ourselves and for our kids, and keeping everything together. So for years we have not had time to grow meaningful other relationships outside of the romantic relationship. And this is when we feel like I don't longer feel like myself. I used to be this capable person. I used to be happy. I used to be liking to have fun. I used to have friendships. I had hobbies. I had goals. I had my beliefs and values, and I felt stable in my, perhaps not perfectly, many of us have some wounding from our childhood, and we might not have felt intrinsically valuable, but at least we felt valuable as we were functioning in the world. And during the separation and during this process, a lot of our beliefs and values, they're getting turned on their head. I never knew that a person could be with me for 21 years and abuse me and trick me, and our eyes are open to a reality that we did not expect, and it's a horrible reality. And perhaps we're looking at other relationships in our lives and realizing, this was in my family as well. Perhaps a parent, or my friend was also taking advantage of me, or people are not there when you need them, perhaps. And this sounds very negative, but during this phase, it is we are emotionally, we are very it's a chaotic time, and everyone has a bit of a different experience. Some survivors do have support networks around them, and you might even if everything is chaotic, and now I'm just mentioning everything that can feel chaotic, but yeah, yes, all of that is true. You say, I love freedom. But this is where this feeling comes from, that we feel different. We feel humiliated. We feel that even the things that because after going through those years of being criticized and let's see, just Moon Love Freedom, you said all of that is true, and then you said, I mean, tested by me. You mean that you went through this and you can testify to this being true, if I interpret you correctly. Yeah. So after all of these years of like devoting ourselves to this person, like setting up the, like it becomes like our goal becomes fixing things in the relationship or keeping things afloat with this person. But so who am I when, like, without that relationship? What are my goals now? And like my beliefs, I used to believe these things, but they didn't, like they were not true. And can I trust anyone? And our values may also be challenged. Like we think that, for example, I used to think that, well, children really need both parents. They really need their father. Like, and but that belief or was really challenged because he was like in the end being so dangerous and abusive. So like it became obvious that no, they don't always need their father. Yeah, so we find ourselves in this difficult stage of breaking free and rebuilding, and perhaps being sabotaged by the abuser, and having had our self-worth and like our abilities and the things that we used to be proud of about ourselves have been attacked for years, and not functioning as like we used to, because our body and brain has been affected by this. Okay, I will just read through your comments again. Let's see. Libby says, in my country, the first time I got a real job, the manager had to encourage me to take my breaks because the company could be held legally liable if I didn't. I'd get in the workflow. You'd have like you had a difficulty to take a break. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. When I many women who because the abusers choose us or they target us. So many women who are getting into these long-term relationships with abusers, they are very high functioning and intelligent and hard workers and so on. So yeah, not being able to take a break, maybe. Yeah, I recognize that. Let's see. And Hava Java, you share, I have no supports. I had become completely isolated. I literally crawled to the doors of our women's center and said help. Oh, that sound like that's so hard. You were isolated, no support, and you just like went with nothing to the women's center and you asked for help. Did they help you? Have you been able to get help? Because that was not too long ago. You said you've been out only 3 months. And Libby say, I prefer to get off the shift 10 to 5 minutes early. I had to adjust to taking breaks. It wound up helping me keep the job longer past their busy season. Oh, they decided to keep you because you were a good worker. Yeah, and you probably had a lot of energy as well. But so the employer appreciated you. They saw that that you were like doing your best, and yeah. Let's see, Moonla Freedom. Oh my, that is so sad that you realize that no father is better. Yes. Yes. So I came to that conclusion, at least like in my situation, that it is better if they, like, because he was a threat to them, but he was also manipulating them when they were in contact. So my daughter, for example, cried every night for weeks after, like, she saw him, and then she cried, and then it turns out that he told her that if mommy doesn't let me come home, then I will never ever see you again. So that's why she was crying. And that was just one example. So he was using the kids to manipulate them. And yeah, it is sad. But I just have to say that it is sad to come to that conclusion that it is better for, like, to not have their father in their life is actually better for them. But it is also not, like, that is not something that I could change. It was his decision to behave like that, and to keep behaving like that. So that is something that I had to grieve, and that the children also have to grieve that they don't have him in their lives. But they are doing much better now, that, like, after we moved, and especially after things having stabilized, they are much happier and more secure kids now. Lydia say, I spoke to my abuser after some months, and I just felt ill. It's like my nervous system got an allergic reaction, and I told myself to never speak to them again. Yeah. You just felt it in your whole body, like a reaction. I don't know what you felt, but I think that your body was trying to warn you. So don't go back, Lydia. That's what the body was saying when you were in contact with him, I think. They do affect, like, even when they are acting kind, there is this anxiety that creeps back. And if you have been out for some months, then you feel that shift very clearly. Okay. Okay. Libby, you were just encouraging Hava Java. Oh, yeah, okay. So you got help. I'm happy that you got help at the women's center, and you're safe. That's good. Okay. You still let's see. Okay. Yeah. And Libby also, you are commenting on what Lydia shared, that yeah, it's good that you listen to that reaction. your body wanting to protect you. Okay, so now we will move into like a little more positive slide, because what has happened, it's like a lot of the things, the structure in our lives has been destabilized or turned upside down and so on. But what has also happened is, like every one of us, especially when we're younger, we have this, we have some like negative sides to us. Like we might be prideful or feeling that, well, I can do that much better than this other person. Like that was something that I, when I was younger, I sometimes, so I would look down at people who did not manage things as well as I did. Not always, like I would be very kind and helpful as well, and I like, but I had this, so it's not very pretty side, but yeah, when someone was struggling, I would assume that, well, they're struggling because they're not struggling, they're just not trying hard enough. Or like I would assume that, and so, and I would also be a bit prideful about some things that I were good at, or like depend or really like to be praised. So I really liked when people gave me compliments or told me that I was good, and so on. But we all have these things that they are really not part of our core self. It's like this yeah, some negative things that are also getting like taken away after we're going through this, and we're getting a bit more humble, and like those false sense of self that we might have had in, like when we're feeling smug or prideful, or we're feeling really good about things that we're like we're putting value in the wrong things. But really in reality, our value is coming from this, like it is something, like it lies much deeper than all of that. And every one of us is valuable, like even if we don't do anything, even if we need help, even if things are chaotic and we're not keeping things together, we're valuable, and we deserve to be treated with respect, as does everyone. So everyone deserves that, and kindness, and so on. And I think that to start to like, so the rebuilding ourselves after abuse process is not easy, but it is important to start to remind ourselves of, like to start to catch these patterns of thinking that has been that we have internalized from how the abuser used to judge us, and we start to think that, well, like remind ourselves that I am okay, like I am valuable, even when we're not feeling that. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have heard about, or you perhaps have heard about it, but there is a book by a Holocaust survivor called Viktor Frankl. It is called, in English, it's called Man's Search for Meaning. And he was a psychologist, and he was a psychologist when he was put into a concentration camp. And he writes that after what I discovered, and if I remember correctly, he was put in Auschwitz. But he says that what I discovered in there was that when everything was taken away from me, like my dignity, my family, my possessions, my hair, my name, like his name was taken away. He was now called a number. And he said that, but it was one thing that the Nazis could not take from me. And it was this sense of myself. It was this sense of me, like they could not take away me. And so I think that a lot of these lies, like you should do that, or we were fed a lot of lies in that, like in the relationship and by the abuser, and a lot of criticisms. But we need to find a way to start to build that true sense of self-worth. Like, it's okay, I can sit here and relax. I don't have to fix the dishes. I don't have to do that. It's okay. Just like every person, I'm also valuable. And it's also a matter that I get to rest. And then we can, it's the process of starting to rebuild. And it's not one, there are so many pieces that we need to now rebuild bit by bit. And sometimes it's overwhelming. So I think that often, like when we're rebuilding, especially in the beginning, we just focus on, okay, so the next step, like right now, like I can't see how I will untangle everything, but the next step would be that we get this electricity bill in order, like that he needs to pay that, or like you can only see the next step forward. And that was like for a long time, many months during after the separation. That was how I I could not see how I would untangle everything, or how I would get things to work, but I could just see like the next step forward. And and I will just put this picture up here. So this self-worth, in the beginning, it was small, and we had more, we put our self-worth in all of the things, like our looks, what we could do for others. That was where we put our value. But that was false. Like, our value is intrinsic, and we can start to build on that, so that we can have a real, true self-worth that is not anyone can tear down by telling us that, well, I have a colleague at work who looks better than you, or something. And then we can start to build on these, okay, so when things calm down, what are my goals, and build some friendships, and we get our values and beliefs. I think that they will be more true than in the beginning when they had not been tested. And I have a course called the Rebuild Your Life After Narcissistic Abuse course. That so it's not finished, it's just 6 episodes out, but it will be more videos coming. And so talking a bit about this process of rebuilding and why it feels hard. And I think it helps to see things structured. At least that's how my brain works. Like, okay, I understand. And it gets a bit easier if I understand where I'm at. So if you want, like if you are in that process of rebuilding or feeling that I don't know, like how will I go from here, then perhaps take a look at that course. It's free on my YouTube. It's its own playlist. Let's see. Libby says, it's not about being better than anyone, but just I can handle it, no problem. If I can handle it, I should pile it on. Yeah, recipe for trouble down the line, right? Yes. Yes, I get it. Like that taking on as much as you can handle. Squeezing things into the schedule. Yeah. That's like that's a bit different from like those parts that I shared about, that I used to be a bit prideful. Yeah. That doesn't have to go together. Let's see. And Moon Loves Freedom, you share how I react on what I did to him. Let's see. Oh, you write something down here. My reaction and your reaction, no one can take it away. Yeah. Yeah, we have the right to react when someone is mistreating us and abusing us. We have the right to be sad, or sometimes we even need to, like, anger is also part of breaking free from an abuser, because anger is a boundary feeling, so it helps us to put up, no, enough is enough. And anger was very essential when I left. It helped me to leave. Let's see. And Libby say, my dad says, my ego is not my amigo. That's funny. Yeah. I see the parallel of oppressive criticisms or suppressive abuse to the Holocaust. It is as heartbreaking on a household level. Yes. There are actually a lot of parallels. Because of that, like, the Holocaust was extreme, but they were also stripped of their dignity, and they were abused, like, on an industrial scale. But it is like, abuse is really, really painful, and it is also taking lives. And in a way, like Viktor Frankl in that book, Man's Search for Meaning, he also writes actually that the people who, like the survivors that he talked to, some of them that had gone through a divorce, they thought that, like, the marriage that that he's breaking down and the divorce, that was harder than going through the Holocaust. And now we're talking about like divorce before, like before the 1940s or in the early 1940s. People did not get divorced or not very often. So like I have been thinking about that quote, but I'm thinking that perhaps they did go through abusive relationships. And he said that, well, it's like, and they said that it was easier, like going through their experiences, and of course they did survive it, the ones that were able to talk to him, but it was not as personal. It was like they were part of people who were getting like harmed and killed and so on, oppressed. But in the relation, like in the marriage, in the abusive, or I'm guessing abusive, but in the marriage relationships that broke down, it was more personal. It was like on another level. Let's see, how about Java? Yes, the identity erasure. Yeah. And yes, I am considering I am planning to do a group. I've just been a bit slow. But yes, there will be a group, and so you can still. Some of you have contacted me, and if you're interested in being in such a group, so my plan is to do like a small, like a small group of. I'm thinking like me and 5 women, and perhaps I will start with 1 or 2 groups, and so the plan is like to come together every other week, perhaps on on some sort of group video call was my thought, and then like share a bit about where we are, and like in the end, like pray for each other. But because yes, and why did I want to pray? Well, because I think that it's a lot of power in prayer. So I think that this whole process of abuse, like it's also a spiritual side to it, and that things can like shift in the spiritual world and in the real world when we pray, and it can also feel really like uplifting to do that. But I need to say, 3 dogs and a girl, it's power in prayer of a group, and you don't like, so that's my plan to start with. Let's see. And daughter of my Abba, you say, do you think perhaps that it's because they were not emotionally attached to the people abusing them? Yes, so that's what I was thinking when I read that, but that's my interpretation. I can't remember exactly how he phrased it. It was like some years actually since I read that book, but that comparison stuck with me because when I was reading it, I was in, but I didn't realize it was an abusive relationship. I just realized that, I'm in a difficult marriage, and they thought that it was harder than being in Auschwitz. But yes, I think so. My interpretation, and from reading, like I've actually read a lot of these Holocaust survivor testimonies, and I don't know why I started to get interested in that, but the people who survived that, they are very wise and have a lot to share about human psychology, and I think that like it's a part of history that is very difficult to read about, but we can learn a lot from it. But yet it was impersonal. Like in the camps, they were treated like cattle, so it was impersonal, and of course very difficult. But on another level, so it's not as personal as abuse. And then, of course, there are grades, like there are levels to abusive relationships as well. Like some abusers, and then they're getting physical, like can torture you physically and not let you sleep, and like it can really, really be torment, and like not everyone makes it out of these abusive relationships. So yeah, I don't want to diminish like the experiences of the Holocaust survivors, but yeah, I thought it was interesting that he did compare the two. And Libby, you say, speaking of history, in the USA, there was historically the precursor to the SPCA, to save animals from abuse, before any agency existed to help children or people. Those for people began later, 2 to 3 years. Oh, I did not know that. Perhaps it has to do with, I'm not sure, but like when I read that, I wonder if it has to do with USA. There is like, I'm wondering if it has to do with Christianity and this idea that marriages should always last for lives, which I think is wrong, and that it sort of becomes this turning a blind eye, like to abuse, and ignoring it and calling it, well, it's just a matter of love and respect, folks. If you just do it correctly, then like you will get the marriage to work. But that's not possible. Like you know, there was a little like fruit fly walking on my like laptop, and where I had like the mouse thing, and then I switched it away, and then it turned me off. Yeah. Yeah, you see. Yeah, and yeah, there is power in prayer. And Libby says prayer can work wonders for our souls and sense of peace as well, for results hoped for or beyond. Very comforting. Hi, MS Unbothered. Welcome here. There's definitely levels to the abuse. I've experienced quite a range. Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry that you have experienced I'm sorry that you have experienced abuse, and let's see. Daughter of my Abba, you share that, yes, that happened to me. I was afraid to use the bathroom in the night due to how he would act toward me. Yeah. Yes. I did the same. So I would try not to go to the bathroom if he was still up. My sleep was very regularly disturbed by him. Yeah. Yeah. And you have like several children, so that's even more difficult when you're not able to sleep properly. Let's see. Yeah, that's interesting about the about the animal. Let's see. How flies don't bother me. No, but it was walking like right in front of me, so I couldn't ignore it. Let's see. MS unbothered. Yeah, sometimes marriage should not be for life. Some marriages are terrible and abusive and do not have an ounce of love in them. Why should anyone stay for that, regardless of the promise you made? Yes, I agree. So, like the promises should be mutual. They should be from both parties. Both, like two persons enter the relationship, the marriage, and both parties are promising to do their best and to respect and love each other. And when then one person is starting to abuse the other, yeah, it is not. I think that it is too much emphasis on keeping the relationship together in church. I even listened to, so it's like I listened to a Christian creator on YouTube like a couple of days ago, and she shared like, these are the signs before your breakthrough. And then she said that, well, like, and the breakthrough can be different things, like perhaps it's like well, I can't remember the other examples. And then she said that, well, and if you're in a marriage, perhaps like your breakthrough is that like your relationship is salvaged, like it's but that's not always the breakthrough. Like in my case, the breakthrough that was that I left the bastard. So let's see. Daughter of my Abba. I felt like a slave in my home, and Jesus came to set the captives free. That's what helped me. Yeah. And you always make me curious, because you said that when you prayed to like for an exit, it came miraculously, but you don't have to share. But I think that that's amazing that you were able to get out. Libby says, culturally, yes. My sense is historically abuse is fairly new in Western civilization. As we learn, it's a pattern. Not just a bad day, a one-off situation. Once in a while, it's a cycle. Yeah. Yes, I think so. Yes, it is quite new that we're recognizing or understanding what abuse is. And putting laws into place to protect the victims. So criminalizing it, that's fairly new as well. So I don't know a specific number, but things have changed, like even comparing just 20, 30 years ago, understanding is improving a lot. And the information is being spread much more. And especially like when with internet and YouTube. So I started to learn about narcissism in 2017. And then there were not a lot of creators on YouTube talking about narcissism. And it's a big, like, just like 9 years forward, it's a big change. It's like, I've even heard several of my colleagues and like just mentioning the word narcissism or narcissistic. So like, that it has become like a popular word. But I think that it is becoming a popular word. It's not because we're trying to diagnose everyone, but it is like describing something that we have not understood, and we need a word for it. So someone can behave narcissistically, entitled and selfish and so on, like prickly, even though they don't have a diagnosis, and we don't need like to decide if they have a diagnosis or not to see the pattern. And daughter of my Abba, you share, because when I went to church leaders, they told me that the marriage is for life thing. Yeah, and then told me to try harder. Yeah, that's. I think that many women get that, like, they get that answer from church. And I think that the church needs to be educated on abuse. And I think actually, like when I spoke about how every person is intrinsically valuable, and no one should be like, it's a big thing in the Bible that we should not oppress other people and treat them poorly. So yeah, like the church doesn't see that, or they don't know or understand that it's not good, because it is keeping people, like they're putting the blame on the target. So they're putting you need to be patient and understanding and love more. So it's even harder to see what is going on. It's like they are cooperating, like in that way, it's like they are cooperating with the abuser, because that's what the abuser says as well. Well, you just need to be patient. You need to try harder. And not confront the abuse. I think in the old days, people made vows to God, and now they make them in front of God, to each other and ourselves. Yeah. Yes, that's probably true. Like the focus has shifted. Yeah. Yes, and you suggest, so not, yeah, Libby suggests that we should forgive the church counselors. Yes, they probably, like, they're doing what they think is right and what they think is helpful, and like they want to keep the family together. They think that that's for the best. So they're not doing it to, like, even though the result is that they are aiding the abuse, it's not their intention. Yeah, and I think that they should be exposed to resources. Yeah. I think that when we are spreading this information to more and more people, that's a good thing. Like, that's a step it's not exactly that we're giving it to the hands of the like the counselors, but the information is becoming more common knowledge, and people are spreading it to each other. And I think that the public opinion, or sometimes we need to shift, like the every person, like every person that we get to see what is going on and understand it, that's good. And then they can, when they talk, like, you don't have to, well, I don't know, we can't spread it to everyone at once, but I think that the more people that understand it, the better, and that information will be spread. Let's see, and MS Unbothered, you share, I have a relationship with God, but I think that religious traditions foster abuses in so many different ways. Yes. Yes, I think that you're right. So the important thing is the relationship with God. And then at least, yeah, many religious traditions, they foster abuse. Yes. So religion can turn very harsh and legalistic. And I agree, like a lot of these many religions foster abuse. Let's see. And Moon Love Freedom, that's an awesome idea. You mean to give the resources to the to the counselors? Or I'm not sure which one. Yeah, I think that, like, when we're talking, like when we're trying to debate, if we're trying to have a religious debate, like what is like, okay, so what does this mean? But then it can be hard, it can be tricky. But if we're sharing our testimony, that's hard to debate. So when we're sharing, like, this is what happened to me, this is what I tried, and this is how it ended, and this is how I was treated, it's hard to argue with that, because that's like you're sharing the truth. Yeah, and daughter of my Abba, yes, they are criminalizing coercive control in more and more areas. Hello from Georgia. Welcome, Lunit. Let's see, welcome, Beth. Like you said previously, they don't think like us. When they enter into marriage, is completely a fraud on their end. Christ is the truth. No way to stay when they lie and we speak truth. You mean that, like, when you enter the marriage, the covenant, and they are lying and you're speaking the truth, and then, like, is that what you mean? Or do you mean like when you're speaking the truth in the relationship, that then eventually it will break? I'm not sure which one you mean, but either way, I think it's correct. Let's see. Yeah, you're talking about coercive control, and that it's a good thing that it's getting illegalized in, let's see, daughter of my Abba, the state you live in. Let's see. Jerusalem remembered. I'm a daughter of a preacher who is an extreme narcissist. Since learning that, I've not known any minister who does not have narcissistic traits. Jesus warned us of Pharisees above everyone else. Yes. That's yes, I understand what you mean. And it is it's very sad to see things going on in the church that Jesus did warn about. But I think that there are, I'm sure that there are good ministers out there and many good people as well. But and so I have to nuance it a bit because I've not been to every church, but yeah, I'm thinking that some of the teachings are in some parts of the church getting lost. And Lydia say, I remember telling other family members about what happened to me, but they couldn't understand that the family members could be that cruel and abusive because they got so much help from them. Yes. Yeah, some people don't understand abuse, and that is very, very painful because it's like getting betrayed again. I had this experience with a close friend. So after the separation, I talked with her several times a week and shared and I started to share what had been going on, and we had been friends for years. So, but she did not know how how bad I was being treated in my marriage. So I started to share about this, and even some of the most horrible things that he did to me, and some things I have not even shared here on YouTube. And after talking to her, and she was listening, supportive. And after more than a year of talking with her and sharing these painful things, then she said, now, okay, so now I can't remember how she framed it, but she was going to be a bit more honest, at least. And then she said, but do you really think that you are in danger now? Because he had been stalking us. I had moved at this point 3 times, and I tried to explain why I was afraid of him. And then she said, but when you are not there, now he will just have to man up and get a job and act like he will just be a normal person, because you're no longer there to cushion him. So it was my fault, that he had been abusing me and doing all these horrible things because I did not put down any boundaries. So now when I was not there, then he would just act like a normal person. So I was the problem. And this was very painful. Yeah, but some people will not understand, or they will not want to understand. And sometimes that is also because it is challenging their world view. For example, if a person has this very, if you are clinging to this idea that no, marriage is for life, no matter what. If you're hearing stories about husbands harming their wife and beating their kids, and you might not want to hear about it, or you want to think that, well, it must be because something. It challenges your view that marriage should be for life. And then you get this fact that, well, there are hundreds of women, thousands of women and children, or more often women, but sometimes children as well, getting getting murdered by the father, by the husband, or harmed. So that's like like an inconvenient fact when you hold on to that view. Yeah. Let's see. Havayava, you ask, how long before you began to feel yourself again? It was like a year and a half after leaving. But the first half year we were still in some type of contact, like written contact and so on. So like a year after going no contact completely, I started to feel, and this was the thing, because I started to feel relaxed at home. I started to like myself more. I started to enjoy things a bit. But I also started to discover other things about me that I had like forgotten. So I thought that, well, I used to do those things when I was a kid. So that was a long time ago. But I started to be a bit more playful and relaxed, and so I felt in a way like the parts of my personality, or how I felt was my personality when I was in the marriage. Part of that, it wasn't really who I was, because I was not I wasn't able to be myself in that relationship. So I feel more myself now than I did before. Like even during the good times in the marriage, when he was treating me nicely, or like before I got stuck after the second kid and he was became physically abusive, I was still like, my sense of self, it was being built a lot around other people. And in the relationship, it was being built a lot around him. And as I said, like what people thought about me, or like I did not have this core sense of self. So I used to double think everything and question myself, and now I can just come onto YouTube and do a live stream and be silly, and I have like no makeup and I feel okay anyway. But yeah, so it took a year and a half after leaving, and now it has been 2.5 years and I feel even better, even though I'm still struggling. So it doesn't mean that things are smooth in my life. Like sometimes I'm also having these dips, and sometimes, so I'm still, it's like processing happens in waves. So I think that I'm doing fine, and then something happens and I feel like, no, I'm useless. Like I feel so bad and nothing is working. And so I have to I think that there is a lot of grief and feelings and things that are being suppressed during the abusive relationship, that will, like, when things are calm, it keeps bubbling up a bit. And also like the practical things around, like, and physically, like trying to recover. So I'm still struggling with mental fatigue, even though it is slowly getting better. I'm still taking naps. Like I had to take a nap today before, so I could do this live stream in the evening. So things are not perfect, but like I'm doing much better. And as I said, so the first 1.5 years, it was really tough. And then things started to feel easier. Let's see. Okay. Now I get it, because you continued the comment down there. Okay, so you went to this seminar. Folks who brought my big sister home, and let's see, and yeah, and it was something that seemed culty. Yeah, yes, and you already knew some of the signs that it is a cult. Yeah, that's actually important to know, especially like when we're coming out of abuse. We are a bit like we're more sensitive to being drawn into a cult system, or so especially if we are a bit like religious, or like are looking for meaning, we're sensitive to getting into a cult, because it's sort of the same thing, that like we are sensitive to getting into another abusive relationship, and many have compared a cult to an abusive relationship, that it sort of functions the same. Like with this, like it begins with you getting praised, and then it ends with you getting like doing more and more and more for them, for the cult, and being like not good enough. So when we come out with this confusion and damaged sense of self, it can feel like the solution, or it feels like we are coming across something that will help us. But it can be a trap. So it's good actually to learn those signs of a cult. There is this, I don't know if you have watched some of his work. He's called Mark Vincenti, and he did a series on the Nexium cult. And he also has, so I watched that series, that was very good. So he describes how he was getting drawn into that cult, and how he was getting praised in the beginning, and so on. And he describes this, like how the cult functions, and when he starts to see the truth, it creates this cognitive dissonance in that series. He also has a YouTube channel, but I don't know, I have not like, I watched some of it. He does interviews, but like I have not really. I don't know why, but it wasn't for me, or at least not for me right now. But that series was very good. Let's see. And Libby say, yeah, you're grateful that you did not fall for that cult rhetoric. And okay, yeah. This one was only after money. Yeah. Let's see. And Jerusalem, remember, you say that you shall be as gods. That's what the devil said when he suggested that Eve take some of the apples. And that's where narcissists hide the best, in church. Yes. Yeah, and we think that they are good people because they are ministers or they're part of the church. Yeah, these people are the hardest to spot. They're called communal, or if we're talking about narcissists, then there is this term called communal narcissist. So someone who can outwardly look very like interested in the community and in religion and doing a lot of charity or good works, but they have the wrong motivations. They're doing that because they want to build this like the image of themselves as a good person, and they are using that and manipulating people and so on. Let's see. Oh, Libby, let's see. You're sharing. Now you're talking about the cult. Having a support system around me helped me to see it and gain perspective. It wasn't for me, and I did not go back. And they harassed me even after I changed phone numbers. A friend sent a cease and desist. That's that's so bad. The cult, like that organization or religious organization, continued to contact you, and they wanted money. Let's see, and then you broke up with the boyfriend, and it like that contributed. So he was interested in being part of that group, the cult group. Daughter of my Abba, and you share, I've heard from multiple sources that it took a year to start feeling somewhat normal again. I look forward to that. Yeah, yes, I've also heard that, like a year. and one lady compared it to a year of, like when you lose someone, it's a year of grief. Like you have to go through all the seasons and realize that they are gone. and then she said, like, you have to go through all the seasons after the relationship is over as well to realize that you're free. So and Libby says, oh, your value isn't in your makeup. Thank you. Yes. Yes, and I actually feel that. So I feel that I can, like, I'm valuable. It doesn't matter. And of course, those who want to wear makeup can wear that as well. It's just that I don't. I used to wear it, but I no longer do. Let's see. Yeah, Hava Java, you shared that. Yeah, there's a real connection between cold methods and relationships with pathological people. Yes. And Hava Java, yeah, you have seen some of Mark Vincente's work. Yes, it's you can learn a lot from his at least that series. I think it was it a Netflix series? I'm not sure, but it was about an Nexium cult, and it really like made me have some realizations that I had not understood before. And because he like he's sharing about it from his perspective. He's a man, he's a male. He was successful, like before he was drawn into this cult. So he was if I remember, he was a filmmaker or a photographer. And then he was recruited to this cult. So he fell for it, even though he was like already successful, and he was also a man. So, and he shares it from his perspective, how he started to trust this leader of the cult, Keith Raniere, when he would criticize him and like he would make him feel not enough, and he would think that he was not enough, and he would also think that, well, he's saying these things to help me develop, so I'm the bad one. He's like, he has my best interest at heart, and I just have to see it. I have to try more. And it was interesting to see it from that perspective. And also when we're talking about the cult, or when we're talking about, it was sort of the same thing when I read this book about Dirty John Meehan, who was also like, he abused many women, and like, it's like you see their toolbox, what they're doing, like they're doing it the same thing to several people, and then it no longer becomes that personal. So yeah, my ex-husband used this technique, like he did this and this and this, just like this person in the, like in this series. There are a lot of commonalities between abusers and cult leaders, and then it helps to, this happened to a lot of people. I was not the only one who were tricked and felt humiliated and so on. And I think that's also why it's so important, like that survivors come together like this, and we can share, and we can feel that, oh, I'm like, it's not only me, it's it's many others, and it helps to like fight back against that, because abuse is a sort of brainwashing, and the same message is being repeated over and over, and you start to believe it. Yeah. Let's see. And Libby, you say, I might not be able to go back to normal after this, but I think that I can learn through this to be sharper, stronger, to recognize and manage earlier, and to be less naive, maybe more humble too. Yeah. Yeah, perhaps we will never go back to normal, because we are like, if we, at least if we mean normal being like before you know about abuse, and when you trust everyone, and when you're not second guessing yourself, and never, yeah, we get changed from going through this. But I think that, like, it's like that damage that is done to us, or that harm, it is not forever. We can rebuild, even though it takes time. Let's see. And Havayava. Oh, now you're giving us a tip about Mark Vincente. He's got a series up now on YouTube on Bentino Massaro cult, and listening to former members, I cried. It's abusive relationships, but on a group scale. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Can we just... I will just see if I can get it up. Let's see. Now, okay. Now I think that I'm sharing screen with you. Let's see if you can see it. It takes a while, but I just wanted to show. Now I'm showing it. Okay, so it took a while for me to get his page opening, and I think that So the second video that you see there is Bantino Massaro cult. Okay, and the guy, like the video on top of that, you can see Mark Vicente. He's the guy with the silver hair. So if anyone wants to check that out. Thank you for the tip, Hava Java. Let's see. Yeah. Remove that. Okay. And Libby says, oh, I've heard about that Keith Raniere guy. That was some big media here a few years back. None of the women realized he was playing them until after the branding ceremony. Yes. Yes, it was so like evil and sneaky. So he set up, like he had this, so he was having this Nexium organization that was like an organization that helped people self-actualize or become better people. And it was a great community feeling, and they were doing like workshops and so on. But of course, it cost money to do these courses. But then he also had, so he had several, like that was the outer, that was like the outer work. And then he had like this closer circle of, so people around him, and he had a lot of romantic relationships with several women, and they were, some of those were helping him to start like an organization within the organization. And that organization was like for women to get stronger and more empowered. So there, it was women coaching women, and then it ended. I can't remember all the like how they did it, but it ended in that branding ceremony when they told them that they would, and they did not get like they were, before this they were tested with different things that they should do, and then suddenly they were like they were not prepared before. They were like, so they were sort of taken by surprise, and then they were supposed to get this symbol branded into their body, and it should look like a lake with a mountain, but it was really Keith Raniere's initials. So that's so sick. Like, yeah. But yeah, they explain it in that series. Okay, and Jerusalem remembered. Do you all feel like something shifted or changed in everything in the world since COVID around 2021, and like we're nearing some sort of end or getting closer anyway? In prayer, do you sense it? I have an answer, but perhaps we can see if someone what the other ladies are saying. So I have an answer for myself. Let's see if any of you want to answer that question. Yeah, that was very that was also very wise, Allervelt's Cater. I think it takes a long time to feel like a whole person again, maybe many years. For me, it is kind of like a lifelong process. Yes. Yeah, and I think that we are supposed to develop our whole life, I think, and learn and become better persons, and and understand things better. Of course, narcissistic persons or abusers, they don't go through that improvement, that process, because they don't look within, and they don't like they try to shortcut life by taking others captive. And yeah, you really feel it even though you're only 3 months out, Havajava. It feels so good to be out. I'm happy for you. Let's see. Libby answers. Jerusalem remembered. Sure, lots might call it biblical, but I don't know if that's the topic of tonight's broadcast. Yeah. I thought that it was interesting. I think that it is interesting. Let's see. Yeah. So, yes, I know what you mean, Beth. I also have felt that shift for years, but so that's something that I am feeling. I'm not sure if it is correct, but I'm also curious if others are feeling it. So I was happy that you shared. Okay. Is it something that, like, something else that you want to talk about, or something that you want to share? I have started to work on some, let's see, daughter of my Abba. I feel that too. I'm making suppers. I couldn't type when it was mentioned, but yes, I do. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes, so I, I have been feeling this for years, and even like when I was in the relationship, and it's like, so that feeling is getting stronger, but it is two parts of that feeling, because one part is that big things are coming, like yeah, that we are, that's my feeling, that we are in the end of the age. And then there is also this feeling like I will have to do, like, there is things to be done, or work to be done. And so I don't know how to say this, but I'm not even sure what that feeling means, but I felt this for years, that there is something that I need to do, and I don't know yet what it is. Let's see. Daughter of my Abba, I want to thank you for the Bible readings you put up. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm happy that you enjoy them. And so I just put up a community post. Let's see. If if you want to check that channel out, I put out a community post like a week ago where I have some Bible readings. Don't apologize, Beth. You can bring up anything that you want. And we are running on overtime anyway, and I thought that it was interesting. Okay, so I can show you, because I usually I will show you. Let's see, I'm working on some hats for fall. So let's see. This one is finished, but I sort of realized that the border was not that pretty, but yeah. Working on some new projects again. And I do some knitting every day, so they are getting some things completed every now and then, and sometimes I will leave a project and pick up something else, and then I will come back to it. But yeah, it's really enjoyable, and sometimes I was at let's say graduation ceremony for a friend a while ago, and then I gifted her something that I knitted. So I think that it feels good to have a hobby, and I did find that after I left, or I did pick it up after the separation. So yeah. Yeah, Libby. Yeah, I understand your point as well. Like yeah, there is a lot of theories going on and confusion in the world, and the conspiracy theories. But I know that Jerusalem Remembered, she's praying a lot, and so I think that you're just picking up something in the spirit, and I also felt it. Let's see. And Lydia says, I'm just so grateful to God for pulling me through and away from all the narcissistic abuse, and I couldn't. Yes, He guided you. Yeah. So, I also felt helped when I left, and during different stages of breaking free. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah. They are cozy. The shawls are cozy. If you're interested in if you're interested in learning how I do them, because it's really, really simple. You only need to know how to do the like the normal stitches, the knit stitches, and then I like my the shawls that I make are really, really simple, so you don't have to sit down and think and follow a pattern or anything. So if anyone is interested, I can do like a small or short how-to video. If anyone wants to, you can just tell me, because yes, it helped me, like during the stage where some of you are at, daughter of my Abba and Hava Java. Like in the beginning, when I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and like really feeling weak and not doing well, I could knit, and I could do something with my hands even when I was tired. So sometimes I would even sit like in my bed or in my like chair, like a comfy chair, and and knit something. And so I don't like to follow the patterns. I like to just do like things that I can do without following the patterns. And yeah, and it becomes cozy things, and I like doing them. And I also like found it helpful to, like, when I could, like, because it was so many emotions and grief and so on. So I worked a lot in the beginning, especially with colors. Like now this hat, I'm just using some purple yarn, and it's really soft. So it's some wool yarn. Yeah, freestyle knitting. But in the beginning, I used a lot of colors. So I like knitted one shawl. I have worn it in a few videos. Like it's first it's very, very red, like, and then it becomes lighter red, and then it has this golden band like in the end, and then I like, but this was before I started the YouTube channel. But I just when I knitted this, I thought like I'm in a lot of pain, so it's a lot of red, but I will work through that, and like that red will disappear, and then like this gold will come forward. So it's like, I don't know, it felt helpful to it's the same, like if sometimes we have a lot of feelings inside of ourselves that it's hard to even understand what they are. And yeah. Bye, Beth. We're happy to have you here. Have a good night. Yeah, when we have a lot of emotions, and we might not yet be ready to put words into it or share it. I mean, so there are a lot of ways to process them. Talking about them is just one way. You can write it, like if you're journaling, you can write it. But you can also paint it. So use different, and it doesn't have to be like something that you can, like, doesn't have to be figures, or it can be just colors and like these abstract paintings. And that's good as well if you have kids. So, and this is something that I actually did during the relationship when they were smaller. Like, it's hard to get a moment to yourself to sit down and process stuff, but you can have like bring out these pens and paper, and everyone sits down and draw something, and you can just draw something like abstract with the colors, but let them symbolize different feelings that you're having. And the kids don't have to know what it means, but just to like get some emotions out. And I also used to make these Play-Doh, like at home. And so just sitting down with the kids and doing something with the hands, and just like playing with the dough. And so when things are feeling difficult, and you still have to keep the kids busy, and it's good to do something together, and to that helped me. Yeah, and the Play-Doh. Yeah, there are great recipes online. It was a while now since I did it, but you just use like I think it's like flour and yeah. Yes, I know it's getting late in Germany. It was I was happy to have you here, Susanne, and have a good night. I hope that you sleep well. Yeah. So really simple ingredients for the Play-Doh. Like you can get it from your grocery store if you don't have everything. It's not like if you want to make slime, because that's like my kids are a bit older now, and now they say, oh, I want to make slime. Then you have to have these like it's a lot of ingredients and it's hard to get them. But the Play-Doh is simple. Yeah. Okay. Well, I really enjoyed talking to all of you. And I think that it might be time to wrap this live up. It's getting late here in Europe, and but if you have any reflections afterward, you're welcome to share it in the comments, and I always read those. And I know that some of the viewers voted for the topic. Let's see. What was the other topic? It's getting too late, so let's see. Yes. How do you know for sure if you're getting abused? And so that will also become a video or a live. I'm not sure yet. Okay. Yeah, but have a good evening or night, everyone, and perhaps you will be able to tune in next Thursday, or otherwise we might see each other in the comment sections. Okay, bye.